So, welcome everybody to the Premier League Cricket Club, and it is week 19 done and dusted, and 3 weeks of league season to go. National Club Championship semi-finals done, and the bad news, Mr. Newsom, is: have you seen the forecast for this coming weekend?
I haven't. Do you know what? The weather's been so good this summer. Like, normally, I'm there with my Jetstream charts and all the rest of it, but the weather's been so good. I've just got completely out of the habit of looking at it. Is it bad? It's not too bad, is it? Is it?
Oh,
Great,
from tomorrow in the Midlands in particular, we look as though we're going to be absolutely blown apart.
Oh dear, that's not good. We've got a rather big game happening tomorrow. That's not good. Oh, that weather's got bad, hasn't it? Do you know what? I've never even looked at that. Oh, you just ruined my weekend, my week.
Well, I think we've ruined quite a few people's week if you look at the weekend ahead. Yeah, and people go on about us talking about the North too much. Do you know, up in Bradford this weekend, there's games on Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yeah, and it could be a washout, which could be, when you look at the rest of the season, it just is phenomenal that we've got to week 19.
We can't have it. Surely we need one washout. It's just a shame. You kind of want your washout, late July, don't you? Everyone's just had a bit of a fed up and a whole national washout, give everyone a week off, especially the school holidays kicking in, just to ruin it for the kids.
Yeah, well, our friends at Cleethorpes had a washout last weekend. They managed to have rain get underneath the covers, and it was the one Premier League game on Saturday that didn't even start. And when I saw the result quite early, I texted the boys. They're like, "Yeah, rain underneath the covers. It's going to happen somewhere. There's no two ways about it."
Well, I was working at Derbyshire, and I think Derbyshire would have very happily taken a bit of rain under the covers with Bryden Cast, Ben Stokes, and Matt Potts steaming in. However, maybe they could have done with taking Bryden Cast home a bit early rather than leaving him in the nightclubs of Derby. I mean, first of all, what are you doing going out in Derby? Bryden Cast, what are you doing?
What just goes on our Cric Viz group stays on our Cric Viz group, but I will openly say, what did I say? The boys want a night out in Derby. And they got it, and they wish they bloody hadn't.
What? But it's just go to Nottingham or something. It's not going to end well. It's not going to end well in Derby. I mean, I don't know Derby. I've never been out for a nightclub. I've been to pubs, but not to a nightclub. I didn't even know Derby. I didn't even know Derby had a nightclub. So that's where we're at.
Nor me.
But we still do, and that people still go to them. At the age of 31. Anyway,
it's phenomenal. The one good set of people who I know had a drink on Friday, and I've got to say congratulations to him. The Lincolns, Mr. Dan Lincoln and his good lady, they had a drink on Friday because they got married. And congratulations to our friend Dan, who will come to their game a little bit later, because High Wycombe had a big game against Oxford Downs the day after, which, when you look at the scoreboard, will make very entertaining reading for us. But the weekend was all about one thing for me, mate, and you know where I was on Sunday? Yeah. I was at what we knew it was going to be a monster, Smethwick versus New Farnley in the National Club Championship. And it turned into beyond a monster. To go down to the last ball, none of us thought that was going to happen. I know you were watching the scores from afar, and what was your comment about Smethwick?
Oh, they chucked it away. I mean, it looks like it. I mean, you can't chuck it away against such a good side as New Farnley. They don't know they are beaten, which I think was your line to me in our little WhatsApp chat. But just looking at where they were. They finished four runs shy of the total, so 5 runs to win. They needed 15 off 2 overs, 21 off 3 overs, 25 off 4 overs. Yeah, 25 off 4. That 15th over, look, they were 2-4-7 for 5 at the end of the 15th. So you'd back them to get that, wouldn't you? But they bowled very, very tightly at the death there. Fletcher Coates with his 2 overs. I think he went for 11 off his 2 at the end. I mean, he just went for leg byes in his 4 off the 36th over. So the really miserly bowling at the death just got it done, didn't it?
Yeah, it was. I said to a couple of people at half time, I said, this game's going to go one or two ways. New Farnley put 271 on the board, brilliant innings from Ryan McHenry to get a ton. Who, I think it was Fletcher Coots had said to me before the game, watch out for Macca, he's the one today. But when they scored 271 at 6.8 and over, I said it's going to go one of two ways. It's either over in 30 or it's going to be right down to the death, the way the New Farnley versus Hoyland Swain game was earlier this season, which was a low-scoring affair. It's fair to say, when they were, I think they were 160 for 2 after about 20 overs, going at 8 and over Smethwick, everyone was already packing the bags. We're thinking this is going to be done in 30 overs, and the boys are just going to keep charging on. The key for me was simple. The pressure that those bowlers applied slowly but surely just got wound up and wound up and wound up. And there was an over in particular, it was the 35th over, which Abe Negi bowled a maiden to Viken Kadaria. And bear in mind, he was a set batter, he was doing really nicely, batting with Billy Shafayette. To bowl a maiden over then, and all of a sudden you've gone from needing 38, 39 off 6 overs, it's off 5 overs, and you've gone back up to the 8 and over. And it was those middle overs made all that difference, which, funnily enough, was the same with the Newfoundland innings. It was that classic middle overs, squeeze on, made things really difficult. And I think what Captain Aidan Langley did really well was he put his trust in Ruben Mattia, who took a couple of wickets against Ormskirk late on and a couple of wickets against Oilers Rain late on. He'd got battered around early doors, to be frank. What was fascinating, you'll love this. This is cricket for me. Loads of Smethwick fans, loads of Newfoundland fans, but loads of non-either fans. But they were mates of Ruben and his family, or mates of Adam Ahmed, and they come along and they're like, well, we live in Birmingham, we're not sure we're supporting here, we're going to support Newfoundland, we're going to support... And when Ruben's charging in and getting a wicket, we're supporting Newfoundland. If Bilal slaps it for 4, we're supporting Smethwick. It was great little atmosphere. And the game was played in what I'd class as a on the edge sort of way.
It's always going to be, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was a couple of send-offs that you look at it and go, was there any need for it? My answer to that is yeah, whatever. But actually, this is a national semi-final at the end of the day. And these boys want to get to a final. Both clubs have never got to a final of this before. It's Newfoundland's first time. And I think I could sum it up the whole day by 2 instances. Firstly, I was invited into the change room in Newfoundland, and they were just going ballistic. 10 minutes later, I was in the Smethwick changing room, and the lads have literally got their heads in their hands. And it's literally the extremes. And obviously, I'm not going to photo or video anything in the Smethwick changing room there, but they're all asking that same question. How did we lose that? Just how did we lose it?
Yeah, cricket's such a painful game when you end up in those positions. There's just 2 good teams. It's those moments that you always feel about the end. Look at the end, don't you? And we always end up looking at the end and why isn't this happening? Why isn't that? But then you just never think about the middle and the start, and that run you could have taken here, or these tiny little moments in a game, a good bit of fielding somewhere, a 4 saved, whatever. So it's you just got to zoom out a little bit when you lose a game like that. Yeah. And I just think they've done brilliant to get that far. I didn't think Smethwick were going to have quite the quality to push Newfoundland like they have done. So I think they can be hugely proud because Newfoundland are definitely a powerhouse outfit. So I mean, really, they probably looking at looking from afar. You were there. I'd be looking at, and Smethwick will probably feel they were the better side. I don't know if that's what you saw.
Yeah, I said last week, I think you chose Newfoundland to win this one, and Taaffe chose Sawston to win the other semi, which we'll come to. And I sat on the fence and said, I can't see past 50-50 with either semi-final. And actually, when you look at it going down to the last ball, and you look at the way the Sawston and Shepherd's Bush game went, I was pretty much bang on. They were both as 50-50 as you're going to get. And then, as you say, there's just those little moments make the... I mean, Fletcher Coots with his caught and bowled in that last over was a juggling.
He absolutely burgled that one. It was a horrible.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that could have easily gone through his hands and gone for 4. So you look at those little moments all along the way. at the end of the day, New Farnley make it to the second national final in 2 years. This time, I did say to them, with respect, this is the big one. The T20 is the fun one. You're in the big one now, boys. Message for Aidan Langley. My ECB contacts cannot swing anything around to get it to Lords. He did ask any chance of that. Just said, not a bloody chance, mate, not in a million years. But what I would do to close off that game is say, thanks to Smethwick, Mohammed Zabir, Arif Mahmood there, team manager, and the boys there were so welcoming. We arrived in the morning, there was cake, there was coffee. He's just, come on guys, we're going to make this into a play. And it was a great atmosphere all afternoon. So you got a bit tetchy once or twice. So what? It's a semi-final.
You can't have that many competitive people in a room, so to speak, and it not boil. It's just how it is, isn't it? It's just sport. But yeah, I think, you're looking at the moments in the game, and I think you just have to look at how New Farnley's last 10 overs. They were consistently scoring big overs. Isaac Mohammed's over went for 26. I think that's probably a turning point in the game. And then you look at how that, there's an 18 run over there. It's just, they just finished strong, New Farnley, and some of it petered out towards the end, and they just ran out of steam. And so, that sort of bit of depth at the end for New Farnley, just getting the ball over the ropes, and that quality just close out the game was the difference. So, interesting to see how the final's going to go.
Absolutely. And they're up against our friends at Shepherd's Bush. Ali Easton and the boys down there travelled up to Sawston. Taaffe, as I said Sawston was favourites. And I think he was probably right on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Shepherd's Bush are fifth in the Middlesex League right now, and there's a bit of a gap between fifth of the top four, whereas Sawston are battling out at the very top end of the East Anglia League. And I think I said last week, they're just about the most informed side of the country up until this game in terms of the amount of games they've won back-to-back. I think, looking from afar and talking to Ali at Shepherd's Bush since, they scored 203, Sawston. And I don't think they were happy with it, but at the same time, I don't think they were unhappy with it when you look at how Shepherd's Bush closed it off. Clearly there was something in the pitch there to get to that number. And if it wasn't for Lee Thomason scoring 63 off 68 for Sawston, they were in a bit of trouble to a certain extent at 64 for 4. But they got to that 203 number. Shepherd's Bush come in, and I think it's fair to say when you look at their innings, you can just see there was sort of three tranches of getting going, dropping off, getting going, and away they went, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Luke Matthews has been the difference maker there. He's got 68 not out of 49 balls. Finchnuth has got 30 from 21. That sort of scoring rate, nobody else was really scoring above 60 in the match. There's a few lads got a few, but it looked like it was tough to get going. Yeah. And I think for Shepherd's Bush, they would have been walking away thinking they've lost it in the 35th, 36th over. There's a hat-trick.
Correct.
A hat-trick happening in the 36th over. When you've got a middle over hat-trick happening in the middle there, and you've got Jack Beaumont with the hat-trick. And then 3 runs off that hat-trick over, he's got a lot to do. Yeah, that hat-trick there. And then, Luke Matthews took the next over for 18. So you've gone from the depths of despair. You've got lost 3 for 3 in 1 over. And then the next over goes for 18, and the nerves have settled, and it was probably that 18 runs. If that's a tight over in the 36th, 37th over, you're okay. I think you're home and hosed, but it left too much to do, and they won with 3 balls to go. Luke Matthews 6 off the last ball, so it was a terrific knock by him. But it's on the stream if you want to have a look. You get a hat trick in a tight game like this. Elation and despair is right there, and then it quickly turns around. But great game.
It was a great, you go back to that 36th over. With 29 balls left, they needed 36. They had 5 wickets in hand. And that hat-trick from Jack Beaumont, who was missing duties for Suffolk to play for Sawston on that game, the boys were ready to walk. They were literally ready to go. And what's really, really fascinating, which the scorecard will never tell, but we can tell the story ourselves, is that the next batter in, if they'd have lost their 9th wicket, was a certain Mr. Henry Blofeld.
Yeah.
But more important than Henry going in as last man, he was going to go and do a Chris Wokes because he dislocated his shoulder earlier on fielding. And he was strapped up, padded up, and there's a great photo on social media ready to go. So
Fantastic.
the story behind this, I mean, you almost want Henry to go in just to finish it off, don't you? But
Bit of glory.
he didn't. And Luke Matthews, who is a proper Shepherd's Bush lad, he's been there at the club for many years. He's brought it home. And as you say, Hugh, watch the stream, anyone. Watch our socials. And most important, just watch what he does after he hits a 6 to win the game. He takes a bow right in the middle of the pitch. It's all on the socials, and he looks absolutely brilliant. The Bush Army, as they are called, took 70 or 80 people up there to Sawston to watch it. They've got a rather easier trip up the M40 to Wormsley. And I have a funny feeling the Bush Army are going to be looking to compete very strongly with the new Farnley boys for making some noise on Wormsley on Sunday, September 13th.
What are the beers costing at Wormsley? I can't imagine they're cheap. I hope there's a pub.
Well, it's Buckinghamshire, isn't it? So it's bound to be expensive. Full stop.
I hope there's a pub. Let's hope there's a bar there that they can frequent, because certainly the last few years it has been well frequented. Possibly more importantly than the cricket that was on the show. So yeah, let's hope Wormsley have a speedy barman, because it was certainly in. Well, it was well used over the last couple of years. So yeah,
it was.
Looking forward to a great finish. What shoulder did Henry Blofeld pop out? That's the big question. He's a right arm spinner, so right arm offie. So what's he done?
I think it's his right arm. I'll tell you now. I will check because it's on their socials, because I saw the picture.
Oh, yeah. That's not good.
Well, put it this way: Ali, the club captain, is now even more desperate to be fit himself to play, because remember, he's done his shoulder earlier this year. So it is. Oh no, it's his left.
Ooh, might be all right then. He's got what date are we on? What date is that? 3 weeks time.
3 weeks.
Oh, yeah. So you might be all right. It depends if he's done it before. If it's a regular occurrence, then, as these shoulders can be, then it's not the end of the world. He'll jam it back in and hope for the best. But you do use your left arm to bowl quite a bit, even though you don't bowl with your right. So he's got more of a chance, hasn't he, with his right. So hopefully that all goes well for Henry. Good luck.
Definitely. So there we go, everyone. We've been building up towards it now. Sunday, September the 13th, New Farnley versus Shepherd's Bush at Wormsley for the National Club Championship. And that means automatically new name on the trophy, as we thought there would be anyway. Interestingly, Shepherd's Bush ain't going to win their league between now and the end of the season. They're going to stay 5th, 6th, wherever. New Farnley, I think, after last weekend, pretty much resigned, I think, to not winning the Bradford League. I just wonder whether there's one or two players might get rested between now and then from both sides anyway. And if I was to comment anything on the New Farnley side myself, I did think there was a little bit of looking a bit jaded, because it's the same 11 been playing week in, week out, Saturday, Sunday. And there does come a point where it's a lot of cricket, isn't it? We'll be there as always. And I know I've got a couple of extra people potentially coming to video and photograph for us as well, which would be great. And obviously look forward to seeing the Bush Army and the Farnley Family, or whatever they're called, from New Farnley. It's a proper North v South one, this one, isn't it? Getting a team from down south that way.
Well, it certainly was last year as well, and the year before. So we've got 3 North, 3 Souths. Absolutely, proper North South. So we can get some regional rivalries brewing, and it's 1-1 over the last 2 years, and the 2 that we've followed, isn't it? So we'll see which way it swings this year.
Let's talk Premier League from last weekend. And first thing to say is congratulations to Paynton in the Devon Premier League, who were confirmed as champions on Saturday with a game to spare. The boys celebrated with a home game, which was great. And they get to go to beautiful Exmouth for their final game of the season as well. So I have a funny feeling that might be quite a relaxed affair, shall we say. You've won the league, got a game to go, and happy days for those boys there. We'll be putting out a roll of honour on our socials in the next couple of days, just to show who's won what and who's actually potentially going to win stuff, because there's some close ones, Hugh, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. We're just looking at the league tables there. Quick scan through. Yeah, Birmingham obviously very close. Smethwick have challenged Nolan Dorridge all the way. That's tight as anything. Bradford's not done and dusted. Farnley probably dropping out, but Woodlands Town are still head to head. Derby's looking like it might be done. It's going to be hard to pit Denby there. Cheshire's very tight. Cornwall possibly still alive. Like I say,
Penzance just needs 4 points to win that one.
Yeah. There's a bit there. They don't need much, do they? East Anglia is incredibly tight. 3 teams on 3-8-5/3-8-7. So you've got 2 points between 3 there: Sawston, Horsford, and Copdock. And potentially Swanston not out of it, depending on how things go. But they've got 3 games to go in East Anglia. Essex isn't done. Hutton, Chelmsford are the 2 runners there. GMCL, God knows how it works with all their point scoring system, but I think Brooks Bottom have got that one sewn up, haven't they? Over Edgeworth.
Yeah, I think they need a couple of points.
Home counties, High Wycombe, Oxford Down still in the chase, but High Wycombe look in command with 2 to go. Kent is open indeed. St Lawrence, Hayes, and Tunbridge. St Lawrence are in the box seat there. Hayes and Tunbridge could get there with 2 games left. Lancashire, Burnley sitting relatively pretty at the moment, chased by Walsall and Lower House, but I would think Burnley will have that. There's 3 to go in. Is it 3 to go? Is it 4 to go? No, 3 to go in.
3 to go
in Lancashire. Yeah, so still plenty to play for Lancashire. Leicestershire is tight as anything. You've got Leicester Ivanhoe at 403, then Kibworth and Rothley both on 393, and 3 to go there as well. That's well up for debate, that one. Liverpool's, it was looking like it wasn't going to be tight, but then it's sort of bunched up. 294 Northern, Newton and Willows 308, and Formby 312. So certainly the top 2 are right in there, but Northern are
and a
not,
massive
not
match
done.
coming up. Formby play Newton Willows next weekend.
Absolutely, and they've got 4 to play in Liverpool still. They're going to be pushing it right out. 4 to play. Middlesex is exceptionally tight. You've got 4 teams within 4 points. So Richmond, Teddington are 3rd and 4th respectively, and they are on 104. I think they play each other fairly soon. And then Hornsey, Crouch End, 107, 108. So that's anybody's, that league, with 2 to play. North Wales is also tight. St Asaph and Brimbo, 266, 265. Menai Bridge 3rd, 234. They look out of it with 3 to play, I think. Is that right? They're on 15. Just double check that one. Yeah, I think there's 3 to play in North Wales. Then North South Cheshire is done. Moddershall look pretty much there. There's 4 to play still though, but there's Hemmeath, JG Meakin, and Checkley are in the hunts. Should Moddershall potentially throw it away, but they're a full game ahead on points there. And then North Yorkshire, Richmondshire, Barnard, Castle are vying. There's 10 points between the 2 of them. Big drop down to Darlington R&A. Northants, Fine and Dolben, as always, just put their foot down at the end of it. They're like got the turbo boost, haven't they, at the end of the season? They just go, we'll make it, we'll tease you all, and then we'll just put a foot down. They've jumped from, I think they were potentially 3rd not too long ago, up into 1st.
Yeah, looking across some of those leagues that have been tight over the last few. I mean, one of the games we've highlighted last weekend was the High Wycombe versus Oxford Downs game, and we said, top of the table clash, first versus second. Somehow the Lincolns managed to defy anything, is the best way to put it. Yeah, I'm hearing rumours of very little sleep on the Friday night because it was Dan Lincoln's wedding on the Friday.
Oh, fair enough.
Which didn't prevent Dan from scoring 80 himself, and he's then got on to score 160 for Staffordshire a couple of days later as well. But his little brother, Josh, I'm told that he might have scored even faster if he'd got some sleep, because he scored 50 off 16 balls.
Nice.
And literally created utter carnage. High Wycombe won by 200 runs in the end, and there was no 2 ways about it. They were going to win it once they got themselves into the box seat. But when Josh came in and scored 50 off 60 balls with his big brother Dan at the other end, I think game over there, isn't it, when somebody does that to you? That's gave High Wycombe definitely favourite status in that league now. Interesting that you look across the High Wycombe scorecard there. Harrison Ward scoring 40, Billy Dodd scoring 40, Dan Lincoln 80, AJ Woodland scoring 28, Josh Lincoln 59, Hardy 36, their pro. Even Connor Haddo's scoring 16. They were going out to have fun with the bat without a shadow. And then, as always, Connor Haddo took 3 for, but never mind the 3 for. It was all about just getting them out, and Cam Parsons with 3 for 31, Liam Bulteel with a couple of wickets there. He's a bowler who I'm really interested to see how he develops over the winter. Liam Bulteel, I think he's going out to Australia. I'm sure I've seen that one. And it was quite a comfortable win, to say the least. And it's fair to say, with a couple of games left in the home counties now, it's theirs to lose, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's impressive. The commitment to get married on the Friday and divorced by the Sunday due to cricket commitments. And I hope Mrs. Lincoln is she can only be a very forgiving wife for letting her husband play cricket constantly through the summer. And I don't know what he plays football in the winter, doesn't he? He's a goalkeeper. Has he packed in?
Not this winter. Yeah. Not this winter. He's off to Oz.
Of course he is. There you go.
He's playing cricket in Oz this winter.
Yeah, well, I think that's a fair old honeymoon, isn't it? So they shall have a fantastic
just a wee bit.
Yeah, to be married on the Friday, cricket Saturday, and then was it a 3-day game for staffs on the Sunday?
Absolutely. Just looking across the other leagues, some of the headlines that I've picked up myself. So the other one, of course, was the Birmingham and District League at the weekend, where Nolan Dorridge were playing Smethwick in what you could almost argue was a bit of a shootout for that title. Nolan Dorridge, 253 for 9, with Ethan Berlusconi scoring 50. Smethwick got it done with 9 balls to spare, and Deepak Khatri, who's not had the best year with the bat in comparison to what he's had previously, 106 off 85 balls. If you look at the scorecard for that one, which I found quite fascinating, and I watched the last 5 overs of this one on Saturday on the stream as well, Hugh. They were in trouble. Smethwick were 27 for 4 chasing that 250, and I'm sure Ollie Curran and the boys at Knoll there were just smiling away. But then Bilal Shafayette came together with Deepak Khatri, and between the two of them put on 90, I think it was. But they just calmed it all down, and that's all it was. They calmed it all down before Gurbaj Singh came in and scored 15, and Manraj Jahal scored 34, and it was. In the end, when you watched it on the stream, it was relatively comfortable, I would say, even with 9 balls to go. And I think I spoke to Tom Davis, the K&D bowler, on Sunday while I was at the Smethwick game. They were short, full stop. They were 30, 40, maybe even 50 runs short there. And that would have been a really different game. But that means in that league, with 3 games to go, 2 points between them, it's literally hair's breadth, isn't it?
Really good, really good. It's I mean, that's what you want from an outsider's point of view. Don't you? A nice close finish to the league. We don't want people just strolling away with it. But I think Smethwick have had a wonderful season. I mean, they'll be disappointed now if they don't win the league on the back of getting knocked out in the national, but doing so well in the national. Taking it, beating Nolan Dorridge there, you would think the momentum's with them, but they're still 2 points behind. So Nolan Dorridge is technically in their hands, but a few bonus points here or there, and it's going to be interesting. So every point will be scrapped over.
Yeah, most definitely. I think the key weekend is going to be next weekend, where Ombersley, who are in reasonably good form, are playing Smethwick, and Nolan Dorridge are playing Shrewsbury, who've had a bit of a mixed season, to say the least. But then it goes to the last game of the season. I know Smethwick have got Barnt Green last game of the season, who they're one of the they're one of the stronger sides in the league, but have actually had a bad run in the last few weeks. 4th place, they were right up there for quite a while, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, speaking of bad runs, if we jump over to Middlesex, Crouch End leading the way, but it's that 4-way tie. But yeah, we touched on that there. But Crouch End were comfortably ahead, and now they've dropped back towards the pack. 2 losses in a row, and actually their form guide across their first team is not pretty. I think it's 4 losses out of 5. So that is going to make the end of season at Middlesex very, very interesting. Richmond play Hornsey, sorry, so that's going to be a sort of a 6-pointer in amongst all that. Crouch End and Teddington do not meet, but Crouch End have got Twickenham. But yeah, they're both. And then Crouch End play Richmond on the last day of the season, so that at home. But the form that Crouch End are in and the form that Richmond are in, if Richmond can beat Hornsey and Crouch End, you would think that they would leapfrog everybody, and it's possibly looking like Richmond, Teddington are the two that are going to go down to the wire and maybe finish the top two. So we could see a complete flipperoo in the Middlesex League.
Yeah, I think you're right. If those two sides win it this weekend, that last game of the season, Crouch End versus Richmond, is an absolute humdinger. And if we go just on that pure play cricket form, and you can't just talk about that without looking into the depths. Richmond 4 out of 5 won, and Crouch End 4 out of 5 lost. Doesn't say a lot, does it? In the slightest. No. And as we know, you only have to look at the scores at the weekend around the country generally. The weather is starting to have an impact. The bowlers have got some good runs. The batters aren't doing what the batters have done. It just makes it even more interesting.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting finish to the season. Should we have a look at the stats and the scorers and all the rest of it?
Yeah, let's have a look at. Let's start with the top scorers in the country, and we know that Three Bridges are known as the entertainers, and they've got this phenomenal following that they've picked up on Instagram, YouTube, and everything else. But even by their standards, George Thomas scoring 202 not out in a chase of 318, that was something at the weekend.
Yeah, he's had a bit of fun in that one, hasn't he? 202 not out against Refi in the Sussex League. 142 balls, he's just made it look easy. 9 sixes. Ross Greenwell for Burnmore is a long way back in second with a paltry 161 for Burnmore against Castle Eden. Matthew Weston, 148 not out for Woodlands against Puds, St Lawrence and Bradford. James Price for Norden against Greenmount in Lancashire, another big Lancashire score this weekend, 143 off just 111 balls for James Price. And Logan Bowden, 137 for Thornbury against Burbage in the Whipple. Those are the top score, but all very quick running. I'm going to do a shout out to Tim Lloyd. He's got 135 for Wimbledon to go with 343. So that's a terrific performance from still young, sprightly Tim Lloyd. Still a bit sad that he hasn't had a bit more of a go around the county game as a quality player there. But yeah, any other batters jumped out at you this weekend?
There is one in particular that I have to point out, and it was in the biggest game of the weekend when it came to scores. So we talked about this the other week when we were talking about how tight the West of England Premier League was looking. And 2 weeks ago, I think there were 7 teams could win it. I think now we're down to really 3 could win it: Dumbleton, Midsummer Norton, and Bridgewater has still got a chance. However, Bridgewater, having put 405 on the board at the weekend, James Regan with 122 off 111. He was the only century maker in that innings, but there was a 40, a 60, a 46, a 69 for Jake Lintar. You put 408 on the board at Pottern, only to be chased down with 2 balls to spare. Ben Huntley, 101 off 71. And Zaman Shafi, 54 off 33 at the end. James Regan's 122 was a great score, but how often do you score 122 and find yourself on the losing side having scored 405? It's just a remarkable innings and a remarkable game down there in the West of England League, which has just closed things up. I think the other ones that stood out to me: Robbie Bowman, England under 19, 115 there for Burnmore. Matt Ryan scored 107 for St Taaffe in the North Wales League. He's then gone on to score a couple of hundred for Wales National County in the NCCA. Luke Robinson, another 100 for Nantwich. Francis Hasbrook, 105 for Lower House in a big win for them, that was. And then all the way down the bottom of the hundreds. Sam Everson, one of those names that's popped up time and time again for us through the season, scoring 101 for Cardiff. The key for me, though, Hugh, 55 centuries, 57 fifers, mate.
Good, yeah. Just on the batting front, I'll move away from the club game, although he's not a bad club cricket himself. But Ben, I got the pleasure of watching Ben McKinney at the weekend. There's been a lot of noise about Ben McKinney.
Yeah.
Coming from the Durham system, he's 21, I want to say. I didn't realise quite how massive he was. He's 6'7". He's huge. Just proper barn door. And then to hit the ball how he did was something else. And I can see why England are all over him. But for Durham to be producing, you mentioned Robbie Bowman, there's another lad. Durham just have this production line of talent, don't they? Just tied into the Northeast game. It's just an absolute credit to the region. And they're just churning out players. But yeah, so I think Zach Crawley's days at the top of the order, I've sort of come to the conclusion, are pretty much done, because you've got Zach Crawley plus 2 inches, or however, I don't know quite how to call it, but he's pretty massive as well. And he's left-handed, and he's 21, and he's looks class. There's a bit to do still. He's still raw, but goodness me, he just made ball striking look easy. So a huge shout out to Ben McKinney for his innings against Derbyshire. I know it's against Derbyshire, it doesn't count, but it all counts. But yeah, that was lovely to see. But yeah, jumping onto the wicket takers, Christopher Dixon at Clifton Lions, 8 for 21 off 9 overs in the Yorkshire Prem North. That was the best of the weekend. Jaden Rose, 8 for 36 for Bootle against Wigan at Liverpool Comp. And Logan Curnow, 8 for 49 for St Just. That's a Cornish name, isn't it, Logan Curnow?
Proper.
And then Moshan Iqbal, he's got 7 for 17 for Brooks Bottom against Shaw in the GMCL, and John Richardson, 7 for 20 for Prestwich against Woodbank. But yeah, they've got a lot of 7-fers this weekend, going right down to, got at least the top 10. We're looking at 11. I think we've got 11 7-fers this week, which is a lot. Khaled Husband's at the bottom there, at the top of the top 10. Khaled Husband Rainhill's got 7 for 50, but that's off 28 overs. That's tight bowling, isn't it? But that's a lot of overs.
Just a bit.
Anybody else jump out for you with in your five for spotting, other than the usual suspects?
Well, I've got to look at the usual suspects. I've got to say Tom Sefton.
Yeah.
With 6 for 48 for Liverpool, for Northern at Liverpool, bowling Liverpool out for 88, and Northern winning by 9 wickets there. It is that sort of death taxes in Tom Sefton. Abby Nagy, 6 for 73 for New Farnley, saw him then the next day. Our old friend Dieter Klein with a 5 for 17 for Rothley Park. Another old friend of the pod, Dustin Melton, 5 for 19 for Shrewsbury. He's had a bit of an in and out year, I think, along the way. Ramon Bailey, 5 for 33 for Shepherd's Bush. That was warming up for the Sawston game the day after. And then obviously we've always got to mention him, 5 for 45 for Walsden. Dushan Vamukdi. If we had a sort of a ticker for names that we say week in, week out, I'm guessing now, since Shafi's got off and doing his thing with Durham a lot of the time, although I think he took 4 at the weekend, I reckon Dushan Vamukdi is the one over the last couple of years, Hugh, that we say more than anyone else, isn't it?
Well, could be up there, yeah. Yusuf bin Naeem got a 5 for at Denbigh, very nearly won him the game there. So he's obviously more of a batter. Might see a bit of him for Derbyshire as a 5 for Yusuf bin Naeem. If ever they're going to give a few young lads a chance, Derbyshire, now's the time. So it'd be nice to see a few of our local boys getting a go towards the end of the season after the train wreck that was the match on last week. But yeah, interesting. Just jumping to the all-rounders for the weekend. And there was quite a few very, very good performances, if I get the right weekend. We have, Logan Curnow got 38 to go with his 8 for 49. So it was a very quick 38 as well for St Just, top performance there. Mohammed Wazim Khan got 86 and 6 for 31. Brad Shmulian, we mention him all the time, 91 off 43 balls for Woodlands. Yeah. 43 balls, 5 for 59. Kumar Bush Sarah, 38 to go with his 7 for as well. There's Tim Lloyd with his 135 and his 3 for. And then Ashley Burton, 90 for Cheadle and 4 for 36. Really good, important contribution for him. So yeah, some top all-round bowling performances. But yeah, it was the balance has shifted a little bit, and we might see this weekend with some weather lurking. If the games get played, then we might see the Fifers taking command.
Most definitely. Let's look at the rest of the leagues then. We've got our list in front of us. I'll start off with the Northern Pyramid, where Netherfield are top now and got a 12-point gap to Leyland and a couple more points back to Blackpool. 3 games left there. Still more than possible that it could be any one of those top 3.
Still in the shout there, aren't they?
Yeah, just about in the shout. South Wales. Now, I think South Wales is done. I think Cardiff have won, but I've tried to confirm that and nobody's come back to me yet. So I will check with that one. They had a win at the weekend, which has taken them 20 points clear of St Fagans. But it might just be that game's could tick over. You look at the Surrey League, we've talked about that earlier, how close that is. East Moseley, Esher and Sutton, all within a chance with 2 games to go. Very tight in Sussex, with the Roffey, Middleton and 3 Bridges all within 20 points of each other. That could still go to the end. It's a shootout between Dumbleton and Midsummer Norton in the West of England Premier League.
Bridgewater's still in there as well.
Yeah, I think the way the points work there, I think that one might be they're done for. But the most fascinating thing about the West of England League, of course, is first place Dumbleton, second place Midsummer Norton are the 2 promoted sides from last year. So when was the last time 2 sides got promoted to a Premier League and fight it out to the top down to the last game? I mean, phenomenal to say.
Bridgewater playing Midsummer Norton at home, which could flip them to the top if Dumbleton trip up against Thornbury. So Thornbury are essentially bottom and relegated. So you would think that is Dumbleton's to lose, isn't it? But Bridgewater could pull a surprise if the pressure crumbles Dumbleton. That's what happens when you have Premier Leagues being fed by Premier League, isn't it? I think you get the sides that are coming up are ready.
Definitely.
And they certainly, these 2 were ready.
It's almost as though if you had a proper pyramid, you'd get that across the country, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, with Hull being Man U on the weekend, that's kind of, I think, long gone are the days where the promoted sides coming into the Premier League seem to be inadequately resourced. It seems almost the other way around at the moment. They seem to be very well prepared.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, absolutely. I think you're right.
Looking across the other leagues that we haven't talked about, Yorkshire South, Sheffield Collegiate, they're almost home. Cleethorpes having their game cancelled at the weekend didn't help them in trying to chase them down, obviously. Clifton Alliance, almost, he says, 30 points clear of Castleford now.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't really fail from that position in the Yorkshire North League. 3 games to go, though. Hertfordshire League. Shouldn't. Still quite tight there. Totteridge and Harpenden. West Herts with a little bit of a shout, I think, there. But Totteridge have been on a good run of form without a shadow. And the final one being Lincolnshire. Scunthorpe, Bourne and Sleaford, top 3. And you've got coming up this weekend, Scunthorpe playing Sleaford, whilst Bourne at home to Spalding. And then last game of the season, it's Scunthorpe away at Lindham, which is never a good, easy place to go, and Sleaford and Bourne play each other. So
no, you've got another week beyond that, and they've got 3 more weeks, and Bourne and Scunny play each other on the last game of the season.
So Bourne have got to play 2 of the top 3 anyway.
Yeah. And
could go.
It's really
anyway.
It's going to go right down to the wire, I think, if things fall. But yeah, it's when you got Scunny and Bourne playing last game of the season. That's exactly what you want, isn't it?
Yeah, most definitely. Well, we're sat here right now with 3 official weeks left to go of the season. So there's 4 depending on which part of the country you're in. And there's only 5 Premier Leagues that are done and dusted. Now, I'm pretty darn sure that makes it the closest season across the country for a number of years. Last couple of years, we've been looking at this Hugh. It's never been like this. There's always been some flyaways. And, okay, this weekend we'll get a couple of others over the line. But it's just been a fascinating season all over.
It's been great. It's been really good. I think the weather just helps, doesn't it? It just sorts everything out, and just hope it hangs on over the next couple of weeks. If we get a wet one this weekend, it'll be a bit disappointing for some leagues. I think the majority. It's just if we can get a wet finish, it'll just peter out, and we don't want that.
Absolutely. Almost there though. Big week ahead for you, though, as we finish off the season. As we record this, we're hoping that tomorrow the weather is very good, Mr. Newsom.
I haven't even looked, so yeah, it's not looking great. But yeah, the mighty Derbyshire under-14s playing. Sorry, that'll be good. Yeah, well, hopefully we get a game done there. But yeah, my cricket season looks like I'm done because I'm working pretty much every Saturday for Cric Viz for the rest of it. So it's a bit of a shame there, but money pays, and you've got to see if you start doing these things, you've got to see it out. I mean, you can't just go, you know what, I'm not going to work on a Saturday. So it's a difficult one, but yeah, it should be a fun one. Hopefully we get some weather that helps us tomorrow. But yeah, I'm now going to go and study weather forecasts.
Absolutely. And I'm very much like you, busy with Cric Viz for the next few weeks as well. Got a number of shifts that have popped up in the last few days now. And, the season's coming to a close. People want holidays. People are moving on. There's all kinds going off. And, we just need to make sure we get to this end of the season all in one piece. And then come October, we all tend to have a month off before we start talking about next year and fixtures and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I think I look forward to the winter and seeing what the boys do down in Australia. I think it's one of my highlights of my winter is just seeing how people go and the fun that they seem to be having down there. And it just makes you, when it's dark and miserable, it's a nice thing to sort of catch up on with a bit of Big Bash chucked in there. And we've got a centenary or whatever it is, 150th test to look forward to in South Africa. England playing South Africa away as well. So we've got a great winter of international cricket. So it should be a brilliant winter.
All on decent time zones as well.
Well, you've got the day-night game, haven't you? Yeah, the Aussie one.
Yeah, Big Bash is always on the perfect time zone, and obviously the South Africa tour is. I think the nice thing is it's great to see one or two of the lads who've been playing in the UK back in Australia already kicking off in the T20s. I've seen Hugh Weeb again playing out there. Jaden Draper has been back playing T20 cricket. It starts in August. It's a bit like our football season crossing over cricket down there for us, isn't it?
The KFC Blast or whatever it's called up in Brisbane, which a lot of the sort of pros and semi-pros playing. It's a really top tier comp, that.
Absolutely. Great stuff, mate. We'll catch you next week and let's see what carnage the weather can create, because we actually haven't had one of them yet for a long time, have we?
No. I'm looking forward to a weekend of people putting their feet up, but not tomorrow. As long as it's not tomorrow, that's fine.
Absolutely. All the best, mate.
Cheers, guys.